Alright everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at the basic layout of Kdenlive along with the three most basic tools that it'll give you: the selection tool, the razor tool, and the spacer tool. What you see here is pretty much the default layout for Kdenlive as far as the pane organization. This is the pane where all of our clips are organized. As we saw before, we can give each clip a description. There are multiple types of clips: color clips, title clips, a whole bunch of things that you can use to create pretty good looking videos. Here we have a list of effects. The effects stack tab will list all of the effects that we have on the selected clip. The effect list will show us all of the effects that we have available, things like color correction, blur, sharpening, audio manipulation, anything like that. Here we have the preview window. This functions pretty similarly to a video player. The big thing is it does let you set zone start and stop points. We won't get into those now, but they can be very useful later. One thing that I do want to point out before we continue is that the preview window, by default, at least on my system, is very, very small. This is probably about 4 times bigger than it was before. The drag bars for this are located in a really goofy spot for the bottom one, so it takes a little bit of finagling to get it to fit quite right. If you look here, we have some tick marks. Those are just for timing purposes, same as the ones along here, which brings us down here actually. Down here, each tick mark is 1 second. We do have the option to zoom in by using this bar here. Dragging it to the right makes each tick mark less and less time. As you can see right here, it actually gets all the way down to each tick mark is 1 single frame. Right here we actually have our list of tracks. By default, most profiles have 3 video tracks and 2 audio tracks. For the most part, you're probably not going to go too much beyond that, but it does give you the option to add video and audio tracks on the fly beyond what the profile provides. So we're going to zoom out now. So now that we've covered the basic layout, we'll cover the 3 most basic tools that you're going to be using here. We have our selection tool, which is your typical little grabby hand. You can drag clips around, move them between tracks freely. One thing to note is that if you have another clip directly to the right of this with no space in between, you won't be able to move this clip around. It will only work within a free space. There is a tool to get around that limitation, and we will be talking about it in this video, but the selection tool is limited in that regard. So just something to be aware of. Up next, we have the razor tool, which, as you can see, it just turns the cursor into a pair of scissors. If we click, it'll actually create a new segmentation in the track. This is effectively a separate clip. We can add effects to this independently. We can move this around independently. It functions like an entirely independent clip. The other way to cut a track like this is if you're using the selection tool, you can just put your time cursor wherever you want it, select your track that you want to cut. You do have to have a track selected though, otherwise it's not going to know for sure what exactly you want to cut, so it won't cut anything. But to actually do the cut at the time cursor, just hit Shift and R and it does it just exactly where that timer is. And this is a pretty good time to show you the spacer tool. Remember how I said that the selection tool doesn't let you move clips to the right or left if there's something already there? With this, that gets around that limitation. So if I want to move this clip right here over to the right, I can just click it, drag it over. It'll actually force all of the clips beyond it over with it. The big reason why you have to use a separate tool is because if you have things with real close alignments, this will mess them up if you aren't careful. So just, if you do this, make sure to double check all that stuff. There are some keyboard shortcuts for this. The select tool is S, razor tool is X, and the spacer tool is M. And you can also access those tools right down here, the selection tool, razor tool, and spacer tool. That said, now you have pretty much everything you need to actually get a project really underway. You know, you can start making your edits, moving things around, cutting out things that don't look or sound quite right. Trust me, I do that a lot. I'm a terrible public speaker. So, that said, good luck, give it a shot. If you have any questions, concerns, anything like that, hit me up. Pretty sure everybody knows where to find me. So, I'll see everybody in the next video.